of blogging for the Swirl World, interacting on the Facebook page, and now engaging in this podcast, one of the things that Adrienne and I are noticing more and more is that many Black women are now coming into the realization that it's okay to expand their dating and marriage options. Many formerly believed that there were restrictions to them branching out, dating out, and even marrying out. Our guest today, Regina Parker, is a divorced mother of 3 sons who once held this same viewpoint. During the podcast, she shares with us the life-changing events that brought her to this moment when she's ready to reach out and expand her dating and marriage options. I really believe you're going to enjoy Regina's sparkling and bubbly personality and also her transparency.
Welcome to the Swirl World Podcast, brought to you by swirlworld.com. We're here to help you navigate the exciting world of interracial and intercultural relationships. Whether you've been involved in an interracial relationship for a long time, or you're new to the idea of swirling someone of another race or culture, this is the podcast for you. Here are your hosts, Michelle Matthews Calloway and Adrienne London Leach.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Swirl World Podcast. I'm Michelle Matthews Calloway.
And I'm Adrienne London Leach.
Here on the podcast, we discuss topics of interest to men and women involved in interracial and intercultural relationships. Subjects ranging from dating, marriage, parenting, careers, to everything in between. We strive to bring you the best and brightest people and the most interesting topics, all designed to enhance your life as a swirler. Adrienne, I know that today we have a very special guest, and she's here to participate in what I already know is going to be a fun show. Why don't you tell everybody who she is?
Sure will, Michelle. This is Regina Parker, and she's our guest today and a very close friend of mine. We traveled together to new adventures when we both relocated from the metropolitan D.C. area to wild and wonderful West Virginia. She's a longtime employee with law enforcement, and she's a recent college graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree with a business emphasis. She's an aspiring entrepreneur exploring opportunities to start her own business. She is the mother of 3 wonderful sons and a friend to many. May I again introduce to you Regina Parker.
Hey, Regina.
Hi, how you guys doing? Thank you, Adrienne and Michelle, for having me on the show.
Well, now, Regina, before we get started, for the benefit of those who may be new to the podcast, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
I sure will. As you noted, Adrienne, I am a single mother with 3 active and aspiring young men. They are the source of my motivation that keeps me pushing on and pushing them on to become more than they can be. I recently graduated, which has been a long time coming. I started out in August of 2008, determined to get my degree, which is a Bachelor of Arts, a degree with a business emphasis. But I am looking forward to doing bigger and better things now that I have graduated. I'm a social bee. I'm a social bunny, I would say.
Yes. Well, today our topic of discussion is about Regina's choice to open up her dating options by deciding to swirl. Regina and I have known each other for a while because we both started our careers in D.C. With law enforcement, and we were always joking back and forth and so forth. And I was married to David, but Regina had never seen my husband. So one day she was tripping around the office as she usually does, and she met David, and then she didn't say this to me, she said this to someone else. She went over to them and she said, "Did you know her husband was white?" And they all kind of looked at her, and I just started laughing when she came back and told me she said that, and I said, "I never realized you didn't know that." And she goes, "No, girl, you tell me so much, you didn't tell me that." So that's how our relationship kind of got started, and we would laugh and joke about all of those things. But in the years that Regina and I have been friends and have been propping one another up and helping one another out and pushing each other towards what our goals and our dreams are. Regina has a beautiful woman, and she is a single mom, as she has said, but she's also a very vibrant woman. Beautiful, sought after, and all. And I had mentioned to her, well, you are so attractive, and all kinds of men, including non-black men, like to look at you. Have you ever stopped to think about dating someone that is non-black? And she just waited for a moment, and then she just kind of looked at me the way, she looks at people. And she says, well, no, I hadn't really thought about it. So our topic of discussion is going to be, Regina, give us a little bit of background on why in your recent development that you have decided to include as an option swirling or dating non-black men.
Well, that's a good question. I felt that I would seek out swirling because I would like to change my flavor of men up, and especially that I have graduated from college. It seems almost fitting to broaden my horizons.
That's fair.
And after all, someone said that life is too short to be stuck on stupid. And I don't think that it is a stupid idea to step out of my comfort zone and look at other potential mates. And also, after having been married for almost 23 years to a black man, I think I deserve happiness more than the next person.
Okay, look, we're not saying just because he was black she was unhappy. We want to make this clear. You have to know the person she was married to. It wouldn't matter what color he was. He wouldn't have made her happy. We're putting a clarification in that. Okay? Keep going, Regina.
I do feel that I could be just as happy with a white man who respects and treats me like my name implies, and that's Queen.
Oh my God.
Accepting me for who I am is what is important when it comes to dating outside my race. But those that have been in it for a while know what to expect in an interracial relationship. But as long as that person loves me for me, what more could I ask for? Dr. Martin Luther King said it best, do not judge me by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. And
Absolutely.
that weighs a lot with me, and we all have to live in peace.
Well, I have some questions for you, Regina, in regards to what you just said. Now, speaking of Dr. King, you grew up in the South.
Yes.
Grew up in Tennessee.
Right.
And so one of the questions I want to ask you is, we already know you grew up there, but I want to know, was there any swirling going on where you were living?
I did grow up in Memphis, Tennessee, and there was hardly any interracial activity going on a large scale. But I have a cousin who was involved with a white man, and I thought that was very brave of her.
Okay.
I personally felt that it was refreshing.
True.
But I never knew whatever happened of that relationship or how long it lasted. But with the exception of working with white people in general at an area restaurant, I encountered some really nice white folks. So there was one guy that I worked with at Steak and Ale, or maybe he was a friend of a friend, but he was really smitten with me. And all I'm going to say about that is that he took the bubble gum right out of my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Next question.
Oh, you are such a... Okay, next question.
Well, hold on a second. I noticed, Regina, you keep saying white men. Are you open to, that may be your preference, but what about Asian men, Latin men, or German men?
If they approach me nicely, I would include them also.
Okay.
Latino, Asian, just treat me with respect. Treat me that the queen I am, what my name implies.
All right. And I would think that part of the reason why you're thinking white man is mainly because that's what you're used to seeing.
Yes.
And those are the ones that are used to, if they are going to make an approach, those are the ones you're used to. But I also thought there were some Latino guys that were interested in you too when we were in the D.C. area. I could be wrong. I don't remember. Did you?
Now that it comes to me, I actually, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, I did encounter a Latino that I was quite smitten with myself, but then he moved away, and he taught me a little bit of Spanish. You quiero, I guess. or the one, donde está el baño, where's the bathroom?
Oh, those are the 2 lines he taught you. Okay. Well, all right then. What made you decide to move to the metropolitan D.C. area from Tennessee?
Well, what made me decide to leave home is because of the opportunity that was afforded me to work at a premier law enforcement agency and the benefits that I would obtain to continue to pursue that avenue.
Okay.
That was a great opportunity for me, so I left Memphis to move to Washington, D.C., and I have not regretted it 1 minute.
Good. So tell us a little bit about why, in addition to what you told us about contemplating swirling, why now? Why right now? As opposed to the other opportunities that you've had, what's influenced you to decide, hey, I want to swirl now?
Well, one good reason is because I'm out of school. School is out now. And I'm looking to have fun, enjoy the company of someone new. And that's that movie, isn't it?
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, something new.
But I think it would be my benefit to think more outside of the box.
So when you're thinking now about swirling, is it has to do with what, freedom for you, or realizing that the options that you have as a Black woman has to expand if you are going to actually have someone significant in your life?
I think that it is important because for a long time I feel like that I have been restricted. I feel that because of our race, there's a lot of restriction there, but now that I feel comfortable to just step outside my comfort zone and see what potential there is, I don't think that I would be wasting my time doing so because of who I've been interacting with before.
Okay.
Well, now, Regina, you mentioned about restrictions because of your race. Can you elaborate on that a little more? And I ask that because I think a lot of Black women tend to feel that for first one reason, then another, that they're restricted. So can you touch on that a little bit? I'm sure that'll resonate with a lot of the women who are listening.
You know, it's like as if you're forbidding to do something, or that you are forbidding that fruit. Something that traditionally you grow up thinking you only deal with your own race. And I think that because I was brought up on tradition like that's where that restriction came into being. But growing up, I saw that, you know, people are people, and you meet people where they're at. And you don't base it on race, but you know, you base it upon how well that person treats you. And there are some really nice people here that live in West Virginia, and I will tell anybody in a minute that I have no issues whatsoever with West Virginia because of, look at the fact, my boys have all graduated from college. I'm a single Black mom with 3 very active boys, Black boys, and I think that I have not limited myself by allowing them to be themselves and interacting with not only Blacks but interacting with whites as well. And they know how to carry themselves. They know what they're about. They know that they're Black. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take anybody to point that out to them. They know that.
Yes, that's true.
They know that.
So when you're saying restriction in regards to freedom, what is it? What is it that, do you think it was you as a Black woman that was restricted? Were your brothers restricted? Did you feel like they had the same burden on them to maintain in their race as you felt that you were instructed to maintain in yours?
Yeah, I think so, because there really wasn't a whole lot of interaction in Memphis to really relate to the white race.
Okay.
Only when it felt like